point acknowledges it, which isn't impossible. It has happened before, but as it stands, Golden Great Ape has never appeared in the manga, and therefore it's non-canon. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Toriyama loves Super Saiyan 4, as does Toyotaru. In fact, I'm surprised that they haven't canonized it yet outside of loosely referencing it with Broly. But as it stands, currently it remains non-canon, and therefore cannot be what Toriyama envisioned. Theory 4. Broly really is the legendary Super Saiyan. This theory seems the most obvious of all. Maybe Broly really is the legendary Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? Maybe the simplest answer is the correct one. Well, let's look at it. First off, Broly's transformation has been officially titled Legendary Super Saiyan. But then again, names don't mean that much these days. Not with names like Orange Piccolo, Black Frieza, and Super Saiyan Blue. Goku himself even called Super Saiyan 3 his legendary Super Saiyan 3 state during his first encounter with Beerus on King Kai's planet. So let's look at some other stuff. Besides the name of this form, Paragus himself states Broly to be the legendary Super Saiyan. A Saiyan who is everything that a Saiyan should be. Everything he was honored and afraid he'd become. A Saiyan of unparalleled strength, with a thirst for blood that can't be quenched by anything but pure conquest. I mean, Broly's not even in it for the power. Broly's basically doing a genocide run on the Dragon Ball universe that not even Sans can stop. Broly matches the description of a legendary Super Saiyan. And now, recently, Broly has the one thing that Super Saiyan 4 and Golden Great Ape don't possess: canonicity. Broly and his power set have been canonized by Toriyama not once, but twice. Kale is the first canon variant of Broly, appearing in Universe 6 just before the Tournament of Power arc began. Designed by Toyotaru under Toriyama's supervision, the Demon Saiyan, whose name was literally called Turning into Broly at Toei, was the series' first step into attempting to answer our questions. But he
CIO in 2024. So what's on the agenda? Threat briefings, IT meetings, and lots of coffee. But with tailored solutions built for your business, you're ready. Powering the CIOs that make it happen. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow.
Nice.
What is that?
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care. That's the value you can expect from Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
could not know for certain if she was truly the legendary Super Saiyan, as Kaba was the one to state this and he was not there. Maybe it's possible the legendary Super Saiyan is better recorded in Universe 6. Well, considering that Salada still exists, it is more than likely that their records on the event are more accurate. Doubly so considering that the Saiyans of Universe 6 are the opposite of the Saiyans in Universe 7. Instead of obsessing over their pride, they obsess over their honor. They're an intergalactic police force and a peacekeeping organization. So when an evil Saiyan shows up, you can bet your potatoes that it's evil. Because if even the Universe 6 Saiyans say a Saiyan is evil, then they are. During the Tournament of Power, though, Goku faces off against Kale and her incredible power. It's here that Vegeta calls out to him and tells him that she may be using the form that their ancestors spoke of so many years ago. But does this make them the true legendary Super Saiyan? Well, actually, it just might. Most of the time, fans focus on the lore of the series and forget to take in the real-world scope to discover what is true and what is not. Conclusion. What is legendary Super Saiyan? The legendary Super Saiyan isn't something just because Vegeta says it is, and it's not something just because Kaba says it is. The legendary Super Saiyan is what Toriyama says it is, and right now Toriyama seems to agree with the title for Broly. However, you might be surprised with his opinion because it's still a little different. In the past, Toriyama actually drew the legendary Super Saiyan. He designed Broly for the movie that aired in the 90s. This Broly, however, possessed not green hair, but yellow hair. A massive frame that possessed yellow hair. Something not too different from Grade 3. In fact, one might be able to say that Super Saiyan Grade 3 is actually the legendary Super Saiyan form. It's been pointed to before in memes and other discussion, and at least one guide pegs legendary Super Saiyan as a variation of the Grade 3 form. But let's move a little deeper. In the most recent Broly movie, DBS Broly, Broly had at least one time been mentioned to be the legendary Super Saiyan by the characters within. And considering his past in the franchise and Toriyama's involvement with the character and concepts, it only made sense that Broly would be officially stated as the once every 1,000 years legendary Saiyan. But the legendary Super Saiyan transformation is not green as you may think. You see, Toriyama was not the only one working on the Broly movie's design. And of course, you can't expect that. Toriyama is a wonderful artist, but to ask him to make what we saw in that film alone would be too much. He had a full team to help him, including an art director named Naohiro Shintani. Shintani was there to help him design the characters. Toriyama had stated that he didn't want the new Broly to be like the other. He had a new idea for Broly, a more emotional portrayal, and that meant he needed to be less macho. He needed to have a tender side and something that still showed that he was human. For that, Toriyama designed Broly's transformations, but the one thing he didn't design was Broly's green form. That would not have been in the movie had Toriyama had his way, but Shintani was a fan of the original Broly movies, and so he decided to create this final green form himself, as he'd admitted in an interview with Kanzenshu. Would it surprise you if I told you that Toriyama has never designed a green-haired legendary Super Saiyan? Even in the colored release of the Tournament of Power arc, Kale is still displayed with blonde hair. In every instance this form has ever been drawn by Toriyama, he always portrays it as a large, muscular form devoid of any pupils. And this was the form that Toriyama had created for the DBS Broly movie until Shintai snuck in and added a green form. Have you ever wondered why the green-haired form that Broly uses has never been called Legendary Super Saiyan in the DBS movie? It's called Broly Full Power. That's because this green form was never meant to be his legendary Super Saiyan form. At the end of the day, the legendary Super Saiyan is large and blonde. This change is even referenced at the end of the first Broly movie, in which Broly's hair turns blonde. In Second Coming and Bio Broly, his hair was also closer to blonde than green as well. But interestingly enough, this form is still the standard Super Saiyan form, so in a way, the first theory is correct. Broly's legendary Super Saiyan state is closer to grade 3, but why is it any different then? How is his form special? Well, it's because the legend isn't in the transformation he uses. It's in the Saiyan itself. Broly is naturally strong. I mean, he used grade 8, which is confirmed in canon to be a form with only a 10 times multiplier, and yet Broly went toe-to-toe against someone in Super Saiyan Blue, a form that is far stronger than the one that threatened the whole universe.
As the old order crumbles, chaos begets the new. For some, revenge is sworn for the suffering they have endured. Others will break this sacred pact in pursuit of a noble cause.
¿Evitó la fuga? No hay problema. Con los 5 modos de manejo del Rogue, los pasos de mando son fáciles de seguir.
Maneja el Nissan Rogue.
As has Kale and his Z counterpart, which is why he says that his power is rising and overflowing before nuking the whole area. Broly simply pushes into a new grade of Super Saiyan beyond. These strange forms are called powerhouse forms. Broly's legendary Super Saiyan form is a conjunction of the original Super Saiyan form and his infinite well of ki, which culminates into a strange transformation that only he can attain and maintain, because he's the only one with enough ki to use it. This is what the form is. Funnily enough, Broly also sort of fulfills the filler scene that Vegeta showed us in Z. Broly not only possessed Super Saiyan, but he also used Ikari, which Paragus said is just grade 8 in human form. He would have actually used grade 8, but he couldn't because Paragus removed his tail. So even though that scene is filler, it was accidentally canonized by Toriyama through Super Saiyan and grade 8's mixture in Broly. While we're at it though, let's go over the Super Saiyan forms and explain what they actually are. I mean, now we know Broly truly is the legendary Super Saiyan. let's take a look at what the forms actually are. Ikari. This form is a form that a Saiyan takes when they utilize the Great Ape transformation in base form. Broly would probably go the full 9 yards and turn into a Great Ape if he possessed a tail. But because Paragus tore it off to stop most outbursts, Broly had to find a new outlet for his power, which became the Ikari form. The Ikari form is known to have 2 stages. The first stage is merely an awakening. His expression changes to a more fierce one, and he loses sight of himself and Paragus, which is why Paragus needed to carry a shock collar with him. The more distinct change, however, is when his irises turn into a shade of amber, something most people see as a reference to Super Saiyan 4 due to Super Saiyan 4 possessing amber eyes and unruly black hair, all while utilizing Great Ape in a more humanoid shape. The second phase is a powerhouse form which, while growing large, does not lose any speed. Super Saiyan A-Type. Super Saiyan A-Type was only ever utilized by Dragon Ball Z's version of Broly and technically isn't even supposed to be an actual form. Broly only ever utilized it for a short while under Paragus' control, who used a restraining crown to restrict his power. So in actuality, this is likely just his standard Super Saiyan form being suppressed. Likely very similar to Goku's pseudo Super Saiyan form he utilized in Lord Slug. In this form, Broly's energy flows out and his hair spikes up. The color changes to either blue or purple depending on the lighting. Some have actually speculated that it merely remains black, and that the color we see is light filtering in through his ki, which gives it a tint. This would help to account for the difference between hair colors as the scenes change. How powerful it is remains a mystery, as the line where Broly's base power ends and the form's power begins remains ambiguous. However, together, Broly using this form is capable of tanking every shot Super Vegeta uses. Multiplier-wise, speaking from conjecture, if the form really is akin to pseudo Super Saiyan, it's likely only a 25 times increase. Super Saiyan C-Type. This blonde-haired form is one utilized by both Brolys. In the Z movies, it was used when he went on a killing spree and gouged out Paragus' eye. It was later utilized in Second Coming against Goten and Trunks, neither of whom had much of a chance against him. During this time, Broly's mental state had degraded to the point that he couldn't tell the difference between moments in his memory and moments in the present, believing Goten to be Goku, despite Goku being an adult before. Hey, maybe Broly did like me and accidentally watched GT before this movie, and so he just assumed. In the Super Broly movie, however, this form is more buff, becoming a powerhouse form. It's stacked with Ikari and possesses green aura, hinting at Broly's true potential. The multiplier for this form likely remains the same as the other regular Super Saiyan forms, being 50 times, except for the Super movie, in which it would be multiplied by Great Ape, becoming a 500 times multiplier. Super Saiyan B-Type. The form most of you recognize as legendary Super Saiyan, this is the most iconic form that Broly has ever used, and is shared between the Z and Super counterparts, with even Kale utilizing it in the anime. This form is the one in which Broly officially comes out of his shell. In Z, Broly rarely spoke until he got to this form, after which you couldn't get the guy to shut up. He was either praising you or calling you a waste of Saiyan blood. Regardless, I'll never get over that handicap coffin one-liner.
Hey! What do you say you give us a handicap? Is that another word for coffin?
I laughed so hard at that. Now, in the original Z movies, this form was not actually meant to be this color, or so a popular fan theory says. Many people speculate that Broly actually only appeared green because of the lingering effects of the control ring which he had just broken. By the end of the movie, his hair turns gold and remains that way for all of his Z appearances, only turning green again in video games and the Super Dragon Ball Heroes.
This month, during the Jeep Celebration event at Central Ave Jeep in Yonkers, you can lease 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for just $399 per month, or get Jeep Compass Limited for $289. Scan the QR code here to browse our entire inventory anytime.
If you're not shopping Central Ave, you're probably making a $1,000 mistake. Check out our Google reviews and visit us online at centralave.com.
Now at Five Below. It's Five Beyond. The new Five Beyond is beyond.
Remains unknown. However, by comparing other forms together, I feel like we can get a ballpark estimate. Considering that in the Second Coming movie that Gohan managed to fight against C-type Broly, though Broly clearly had the advantage fairly evenly without transforming, and then nothing really changed when Broly turned B-type and Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2, it's assumed that the difference between C-type and B-type is about the same as between base and Super Saiyan 2, which many believe to be a 100 times boost. This likely means that Broly's transformation is around a 5,000 times multiplier. As for DBS Broly, it's likely the same, but with Great Ape's multiplier on top of it, making it a 50,000 times multiplier. Legendary Super Saiyan 2. This form was never actually shown. In the Z movies, it was never pegged as a Super Saiyan 2 form, though the Dragon Ball trading card game insinuated that the form we see Broly use in Second Coming with the more golden hair was the same as a Super Saiyan 2 variant. Now, Kale in canon has actually achieved the legendary Super Saiyan 2 transformation, or so it's believed. Her controlled form appears to be an ascended version, though this could basically just be her B-type form based in control. Regardless, the legendary Super Saiyan form did see its second ascension through Kefla, who merged Kale's legendary Super Saiyan form with Caulifla's Super Saiyan 2 form. In this form, Kefla, whose base was roughly equal to Super Saiyan God Goku, was capable of fighting off his Ultra Instinct Omen form, stated that she could have one-shot him if Goku wasn't dodging everything. What's the multiplier on this form? Man, I don't know. By this point in the series, Toriyama's given up on multipliers, but if I were to guess, I would say that it's twice as strong as B-type, which was a 5,000 times multiplier according to our scale. This makes it a 10,000 times multiplier. Legendary Super Saiyan 3. This transformation is one that Kale, through the spurring on of Caulifla, is attempting to achieve. However, it's not a form we've never seen before. The form Legendary Super Saiyan 3 actually made its first appearance in Dragon Ball Z Dragon Battlers, where it was explained that Broly actually survived the ending of the Second Coming movie, in which he was blown through the sun. I don't know how you just sleep off your heart exploding out of your chest. I guess the power of fan service kept whatever was left of his heart beating. Anyway, he survived being blown into the sun, and when he came back, his Zenkai had given him Legendary Super Saiyan 3. No other context is given. If I had to take its power by going off the current system, I would say the form's power would be a 40,000 times multiplier. Going off of Daizenshu's statement that Super Saiyan 3 was approximately 4 times stronger than Super Saiyan 2. Legendary Super Saiyan 4. At some point in time, Broly achieves a Super Saiyan 4 state. In the Dragon Ball Heroes series, Broly manages to achieve his own form of the Golden Great Ape form, which is mostly just green, a form fans have dubbed Emerald Great Ape. Broly is defeated in this form. However, he manages to escape Hell alongside Babidi and some Bio Brolys, where he once more turns into a Golden Great Ape. This time, however, he controls it and ascends to Super Saiyan 4. In his legendary state, he's considered to constantly be in the super full power variant, which Goku normally can only achieve when he borrows ki from others. Furthermore, in the time since Goku and Vegeta fought Black Janemba, Broly has even displayed the super full power Saiyan 4 Limit Break form, being capable of keeping up with even Vegito Blue and Xeno Vegito 4 Limit Break at the exact same time. Legendary Super Saiyan God. Last, and certainly the least expected of them all, Broly achieved a god form. How did he do it? We don't know. This form first appeared in Dragon Ball Z, the real 4D ride at Super Tenkaichi Budokai. In this form, Broly is, pun intended, capable of god-stopping Goku and Vegeta Blue. There's never any explanation given for this form. A popular fan theory comes from a piece of dialogue in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, in which you have Super Saiyan God Goku face Broly, and Broly will demand to know what form Goku is using, and Goku will state that he's entered a world Broly will never know. According to the fan theory, this interaction spurred Broly on to search for this new form and master it. This may all be considered fanon, but it is the only explanation for the form we have. It's later shown in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes game, although it's an unplayable form. The appearance for this form is interesting though, as it also possesses green hair like his other legendary forms. However, this form's hair shape changes, and that it grows longer, coming to a length between his Super Saiyan 3 form and his Super Saiyan 4 form. This is in reference to the original design for Super Saiyan God that Toriyama denied in the first drafting of the Battle of Gods movie. According to the abandoned design, Goku's hair would have remained golden. It would have lengthened like Super Saiyan 3 and 4, and he would have gained a cape. Imagine how awesome it would have been for Broly to have a cape. Now that I think about it, it would have been that cool. Likely why they ditched it. And that is everything I know about the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. I've explained in fine detail the entirety of the family of forms, including where they come from and which ones are actually legendary and which aren't. Thanks for watching all the way through. If I had a diploma, I would give it to you. You have graduated with a PhD in Saiyan transformations from the Amonkhi University. Please leave a comment below to let us know other things you might like to see in the future.
Did you enjoy our video? Well, then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amonkhi. And make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Running a business comes with many moving parts, and being able to keep track of it all makes all the difference, especially when it comes to stock. That's where we come in. Katana's cloud-based inventory management software is full of useful features to help you maximize operational efficiency. Keep supply and demand aligned with live end-to-end inventory insights and eliminate stockouts or overstock before they happen. Take the guesswork out of ordering products and materials. Katana's built-in purchase order management lets you issue orders based on precise requirements and reorder points. Centralize and monitor data from every sales channel in one single place with omni-channel sales management. Save time and effort with manufacturing operations management. Production planning, resource allocation, and scheduling have never been easier. Katana integrates with accounting software like QuickBooks Online and Xero, giving you financial visibility and extra peace of mind when it comes to managing your books. Worried about complexity? Don't be. Implementing Katana couldn't be easier. Choose to set it up for yourself, or let our team of experts set you up for success. Learn more about how Katana can help you track all the moving parts of your day-to-day operations and join thousands of businesses that have already transformed how they work.
The love of peaceful nights. At Sotheby's, we got sleeping well down to a science.
Welcome to the first omnibus here on Geekdom 101. What we're going to do on this is compile together everything we know, all the information that's been gathered from all the Super Saiyan forms from Dragon Ball Z. And with this Transformation Guide Omnibus, we're going to focus exclusively on the forms from Dragon Ball Z, not the ones from the movies or from Super or from GT. Just the classic Dragon Ball Z transformations. By the end of this, you will know everything about all of the original Super Saiyan forms in DBZ. Let's start right now.
I, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, honors you to subscribe and follow Geekdom 101 on these social media platforms.
When talking about the classic golden-haired Super Saiyan transformation, I feared making this video because I knew it was going to be very, very long because, let's be honest, there's a lot to talk about. Super Saiyan is one of the most iconic transformations and state of beings in all of anime. Pretty much everyone on Earth who has digested any form of media, even if you've never seen Dragon Ball Z, you know what a Super Saiyan looks like, even if you don't know what it's called. And there have been so many explanations and retcons and various versions of the story on how Super Saiyans work and which characters became Super Saiyans. So, to make this video as simple as possible here in the Geekdom 101 Transformation Guide, we're not going to focus on specific characters, we're going to focus on the actual Super Saiyan transformation. How it works, what triggers it, where Toriyama got the idea from, all that stuff will be featured here on this edition of the Geekdom 101 Transformation Guide as we discuss the Super Saiyan. As Toriyama was writing his manga weekly in Shonen Jump, he had to figure out new and creative ways to showcase his characters becoming stronger and stronger visually so that the reader could easily understand, and thus, that's where the concept of transformations really became a thing in Dragon Ball. Now, transformations have always and probably will always be a trope of shonen, as it is a relatively easy way to show the reader growth within the power of the character visually. the very beginning of the Dragon Ball Z portion when Nappa briefly mentions a Super Saiyan. And as we go into the Frieza saga, we keep hearing about this legendary myth about a Super Saiyan who will one day rise and attain an incredible amount of power, which is something that Frieza ultimately feared, along with the fact that he feared the Saiyans will one day gain so much power that they would revolt against him, and that's why he ultimately wound up killing the entire race in a mass genocide of planet Vegeta. Of course, later on this was somewhat retconned into where Beerus gave Frieza permission. You could still sense that the paranoia inside Frieza's head was building. Now, when Toriyama was first coming up with the Super Saiyan concept, it's pretty clear based on interviews that he wasn't entirely sure as to how he was going to make Goku look and how he would differentiate the way Goku would appear with this form. And prior to Goku becoming a Super Saiyan, we saw him use Kaioken and things that would sort of make Goku look bulkier and larger and have a different kind of aura, but this Super Saiyan was a totally new thing. And Toriyama once remarked that the reason as to why he chose to go with like a lighter sort of golden hair is so that his inker wouldn't spend so much time inking the dark hair for Goku, which of course was Toriyama kind of doing a little tongue-in-cheek joke. I don't think he was fully serious when he said that, but it's a great, brilliant idea to create something so iconic. Now, in Japan, it's commonly known in culture, at least it was back then, that people who had blonde hair were commonly seen as delinquents. And Toriyama really wanted to express that. Not to mention that if you really pay attention to the overall aesthetic of a Super Saiyan, you'll notice that they have a giant spiky golden hair and the pupils change color, resembling that of an Aryan blonde hair, blue or green-eyed individual, a pure blood according to many historical doctrines when you have that hair and eyes. But also, if you really pay attention, you can notice that Toriyama will draw the eyes very differently. When in Super Saiyan form, the eyes of these characters are surrounded by an outline like villains. And this was, of course, Toriyama wanting to showcase the anger and rage that must be present for a character to achieve this power. Now, one of the most commonly quoted lines from the English dub is when it's said that Super Saiyan comes from a need, not a desire. Now, that's only in the English dub, not in the manga, not in the Japanese version, and actually contradicts a lot of the things that we find out about Super Saiyan as the series progresses. For example, we know that when Goku first became a Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Manga Chapter 317, which correlates to Dragon Ball Z Episode 95, we know that Goku triggered the form not just from all his training he was doing, but because he saw his best friend die right in front of him, and that triggered an incredible sense of anger and rage. But you can't say there's not a desire there when it came to other characters. For example, in the Cell Saga, characters like Future Trunks in the Trunks TV special, Vegeta in flashbacks, and of course Gohan desiring the power, training and training and training, and eventually achieving it. But then later on, characters like Goku and Trunks don't appear to have struggled whatsoever, at least in comparison to previous Super Saiyans. This, of course, would be explained recently in 2018 with Toriyama's very controversial introduction of S-Cells.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Says how much they love Tuesdays. Well, at Outback, we do. Introducing Tuesday Tales
Oh.
at Outback. Every Tuesday, enjoy mouth-watering steamed lobster tail with a cheesy sauce at $24.99. Meet your new favorite cafe. Tuesday Tales, only at Outback Steakhouse.
Nah, yo, you don't see my messages coming up though?
One family who wants to see my powers in action. So,
Nah, I responded back.
where this is going. The Thundermans Return. New movie now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Nah, I see, I got yours, and then, yeah, I shot the response back as soon as it came through.
Right now, during the spring, into performance leads the 2024 Acura Integra for $357 per month. Further, visit us today.
Nah, your camera's off. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Episode 66, after witnessing Goku one-shot the seemingly invincible Raccoon from the Ginyu Force, Vegeta narrates a flashback where he illustrates the power of a Super Saiyan and the legend, and at one time, this was considered nothing but a myth and just superstition. And he states that we have not seen a Super Saiyan for over 1,000 years prior to the Frieza
Yo,
saga.
what's up,
Now,
bro?
obviously, Goku's transformation was totally triggered by his rage
Okay.
and anger against Frieza, and
Okay.
Vegeta's, which would be explained later on in Dragon Ball during the fight with the artificial humans, androids, his would be triggered by his desire to surpass or become
Yeah,
equal to
yeah.
Goku after witnessing both Goku and the mysterious youth from the future, Trunks, also achieving the form. It was shocking to him that there was another Super Saiyan besides just Goku, and this was enough for him to say, hey,
Man,
I'm slacking.
the air
Now,
fryer
it was
is,
implied that you
I
had
can
to
say
have a pure heart to
100%
be a Super Saiyan, and Vegeta, of
magic.
course, snarked in his remarks that he had a pure heart, but it's pure evil, which was probably him just talking trash. I don't think we should put too much stock in
It's
that.
100%
Super
magic.
Saiyans, not only did you have to have an incredible amount of rage and anger, but you also had to do an extensive amount of training to achieve the form, to prepare your body for the form. But in more recent incarnations of Dragon Ball overall, there's different pathways to take. Because when you watch Dragon Ball or when you read the manga,
Well, you kind of always been into fish, especially like when you got out there. Especially when you got out there, you know, you got into fish hardcore.
Goku was filled with rage but did not trigger the transformation despite being a lifelong martial artist and being very angry, which, as I said before, as Toriyama continued to write the manga, he would sort of retcon and change the conditions for becoming a Super Saiyan. When we get to Goten, for example, he was able to obtain Super Saiyan not only at a very young age, but also more instinctively rather than as a result of anger. Now, throughout the years, many fans have theorized that the reasons as to why Goten and Trunks were able to achieve the form at such a young age
Dogs are
no real threat.
Dogs are too much responsibility.
Is because of the fact that when they were originally
They
conceived by Goku
like
and
I
Vegeta
went through. I have my fair share of dogs.
powerful that they almost transferred their energy, their power through their sperm into. This is wacky, but people believe that this is what happened. That's why Goten and Trunks became stronger, even though that's not explicitly stated in the series. It's very possible that because Goku and Vegeta's bodies were so much more powerful than Goku's was when he first conceived Gohan, that it is, you know, a thing that I think has made a lot of sense. But Dragon Ball Super really turned the tide when it came to explaining Super Saiyan. Dragon Ball Super.
I didn't want to give you the proper answer because I know how you get. You know, so.
Also in their version of Planet Sadala before Planet Vegeta was a thing, and they would eventually migrate over. But
shit!
But what we find out from Kaba from Universe 6 is that the Universe 6 Saiyans don't appear to have any.
I know you had to fold them both at least once or twice.
Universe 6 Saiyans have some very interesting biological differences from their Universe 7 counterparts. Pure-blooded Universe 7 Saiyans have tails and can become great apes, whereas Universe 6 Saiyans have evolved past the need for having a tail. Besides that, Universe 6 Saiyans are seen more benevolent. They are keepers of the peace, as opposed to Universe 7, who is violent, rage-filled, fighting enthusiasts. Now, it is not made clear exactly as to how many years Kaba and the other Universe 6 Saiyans experienced heavy combat. We don't know how much training Kaba actually did prior to his meeting with Vegeta, but when he did first meet Vegeta, Vegeta taunted him and punked him out and triggered the transformation based on Kaba's energy. Now, later on in Dragon Ball Super, when Kaba tries to teach Caulifla how to do the transformation, he talks about having a tingling sensation in one's back and then focusing the energy from the spinal area to tap into the form.
But you know what though? I'm sure your relationship with your son is
unclear as to whether
way
or not
better
Toriyama just decided to give different pathways to becoming a Super Saiyan, or if
than my relationship with my father was growing up.
Different pathways to achieving the form. Not only is it rage and anger with heavy training.
No, it wasn't even the upbringing. It was just the things he was into, and
specifically Asian biological lore, which I will link at the end of this.
I don't know if programming is the right word, but the battery that was put in the back. You know, like event, like things seen. Okay, you know how well
work. So
You know how back then it was like, listen, what happens in the house stays in the house. I'll fuck you up, you know. So there was things that were seen in the house that weren't allowed to be talked about. You know, which I mean which you know we older now. You know, like as we grew older, you know, it was like yo, there for real. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. You know, like he had his vices, his fixations, and that played a big role in my upbringing. You know,
and it's very, very controversial and split down the middle when
yeah.
it comes to the fandom. Although the S-Cell's explanation does help to explain how Goten and Trunks were able to achieve this power so young, because
and
unlike
then it's like,
Vegeta and Goku, they weren't raised in constant
and then
battles.
it's like, you know, like you see everything you're introduced to everybody. So if something happens, you know how to maneuver.
Contradicts the entire purpose of having training
You
and
know?
rage and everything that made up the Super Saiyan transformation in the original manga. So the way it's kind of interpreted by me is that the more S cells you have, the more peaceful you are, the higher chance you have of achieving this power without needing the emotional stress. And to me, this could actually be the explanation as to why so many Saiyans for so many centuries were unable to get this power, because they were always fighting and there was no actual peacetime and no purity. But it does again contradict the original manga in a way, but it also reminds me way too much.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Hold it in, hold it in. We'll go right back to the bathroom and I'll make you cry. You know, because that's how we were dealt with. Oh, you want to act up? Come here. Don't cry, don't cry. You know.
Were Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and future Trunks, the two surviving purebloods that we knew about back then, and their children. And then as the series progressed, we saw Goten, Trunks, Universe 6 Saiyans, later on Broly, when he witnessed his father dying, triggered that rage. We've seen this a lot in Dragon Ball, where the properties of becoming a Super Saiyan have changed, but ultimately when you think about there being separate pathways to get to the form, that to me is the best explanation to where everything kind of makes sense. Am I covering up Toriyama's retconning? No, absolutely not. I do think that some characters get too strong too fast, but either way, that's the only explanation that really makes sense to me. And if you factor in the end of Dragon Ball GT, where we see Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr., who have extremely diluted blood successfully transform, you can then figure out that same blood, the ability to become Super Saiyan, is not indicative of how much pure blood you have in your bloodline.
They're just in
you have
the way,
any
like
blood
they're
in your
privileged
bloodline
and in
some
the way.
S cells, you can do it. Now, obviously, GT was written way before Dragon Ball
okay,
Super,
right? Like,
and way
okay,
before
and
Toriyama came up
and
with this.
us
But
growing
it's
up,
almost
right?
like he's trying to
We
explain
either
things,
had
but forgetting that,
mom,
hey, what about all the angry moments Goku had when he was a kid?
it was like mom and dad was separate, or dad was completely out of the picture.
For 3 decades, the Super Saiyan transformation has been
they were together for the kids and put up a front.
And a pop culture phenomenon, but it was not the most powerful form in the series. It was supposed to be the maximum strength that these characters could achieve. In the forthcoming editions of the Geekdom 101 Transformation Guide, we're going to take an in-depth look at the Super Saiyan mutations that came after the traditional base Super Saiyan. The golden-haired form that Goku achieved on Planet Namek, Super Saiyan
what I
was
mean
not
though,
the pinnacle of
right,
power for the
is
Saiyan race.
okay. Like I said,
Although it may have
our
seemed like it at the time,
our households, you know, were different. This generation got both parents. You know, they communicate. They give them everything and anything they want. They're not strung out on. My mom isn't tricking, you know, late at night. She's not selling ass, smoking crack, or or playing with needles, you know. Both parents work a 9 to 5, bust their ass to give the kid whatever they want, but the kid want to be in the street in the way.
Gen X is planning a summer in Portugal.
Like, take your ass home. Learn taxes.
He's working with a banker to bunch of He only turned 30 months. And Gen Z, her credits golden. Hello, new apartment. 3 gens getting a Chase. Solutions that grow with you. One bank for now, for later, for life. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Yeah.
Our virus healed up and determined more than ever. He and Vegeta could both sense that they both
that's what I mean by like this generation is just in the way.
Super Saiyan. Discover what was
You know?
Super Saiyan beyond
Like,
Super Saiyan, and that would lead them into
for
a
no
quest
reason,
of
not knowing,
self-discovery, a quest of bonding
not
with their
knowing.
sons, and a quest to discover
Like,
the
you know,
pinnacle
like,
of power. But
this
along
is-
the way, they discovered some very
People
interesting
that are still
upgrades
doing
to
this
Super
is
Saiyan.
because
We're going to be talking about
they're
the first
stuck
one here on this video.
in the
This edition of the Geekdom 101
in the revolving
Transformation
door
Guide.
cycle.
We discuss what is known in the English dub as Ascended Super
know?
Saiyan. That is not the correct name for this form. The correct name for this form
You
is
know,
Super
like
Saiyan
some people
Stage
get out the
2
door,
or Super Saiyan Grade
you
2,
know,
Super
and
Saiyajin
do
Dai
better.
Ni Dankai. Let's
And
get
then,
to it
you
now.
know, you got the other
Before
people
our
that
heroes
stay in the
discover
door, which is,
what
you
would be
know,
referred to as
street jail,
Super
street
Saiyan
jail,
2,
street jail.
along the
And
way
then you
they
got the
tapped
ones
into what
that
we refer
leave
to
the
as
door
Ichi Dankai no
and
Henshin,
try not to go
transformations of the
back
first
to the
stage. In
door.
other words, forms that went beyond the power of a Super Saiyan. And it was not until Goku truly discovered the nature of this power that he chose to completely bypass it, but that's a video for another day. For many years,
It's
these
always
forms
the-
had
it's
several
always DV
different
with you.
fan-made terms, the oldest being from the early 90s website Toriyama.org, otherwise known as the 3 Steps Over the Edge blog by a man known as Curtis Hoffman, who was one of the earliest English-speaking
alright.
Dragon Ball fans on
Yeah.
the internet, discussing the series before any of us could even dream of having websites, YouTube channels, or streams, or any of that. So Curtis Hoffman referred to these transformations as Ultra Super Saiyan, or USSJ, or Ultra Saiyajin. But those were sort of his interpretations of what the forms would actually be called. So if you've ever heard somebody say Ultra Super Saiyan, it's from Curtis Hoffman. But within the actual series, Goku refers it as Ichi Dankai no Henshin, transformations of the first stage. But Trunks and Vegeta refer to these as Super Saiyajin Dai Ni Dankai and Super Saiyajin.
I'm mad you trying to hit him with the reverse kidnapping. No, I get it because I want you to leave, but you're fighting me to stay. Like, I get it. I get it.
Which the Funimation dub chose to call Ascended Saiyan, which is a bad name because they would use the term Ascended Saiyan not just to describe Vegeta and Trunks' Stage 2 and Stage 3 forms, but also to describe Super Saiyan 2 for a while. And all of that was just a dub term. The official term, like I said, is Super Saiyan Grade 2, with Grade 1 being the original traditional form that Goku had already achieved on Namek, and that later on Vegeta and Trunks and Gohan would also achieve. So this grade form was first shown off by Vegeta when he left the Room of Spirit and Time. His intentions of going into the Room of Spirit and Time was not only to surpass Goku, which is always his goal for almost the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, but also to break the limitations of Super Saiyan, and he accomplished it to a degree. Vegeta confidently left the Room of Spirit and Time, or the hyperbolic time chamber in the dub, to go confront Semi-Perfect Cell, which was Cell in his second form after absorbing Cell Team. And this is when we first see Vegeta unlock this power, or not unlock it, but show us the power that he did unlock in the Room of Spirit and Time while training with future Trunks. So what happens is Vegeta powers up and his body mass, his actual size increases. And not only is he taller, but also his muscles become astronomically larger. Plus it appears like his hair gets a little bit thicker. If you're keeping track at home, to reference this, check out Dragon Ball Manga Chapter 377, correlating with Dragon Ball Z Episode 155. Vegeta refers to himself as Super Vegeta, which a lot of old power level charts on old Dragon Ball Z websites from the late 90s would actually refer to the Ultra Super Saiyan form or Grade 2 or whatever you want to call it as just Super Vegeta and Super Trunks. But again, it gets confusing because there's so many fan-made names here that so many fans use for so many years that you have to remember that at the end of the day, it's officially referred to as Grade 2 or Stage 2.
Should have just run whole
Vegeta
war.
shows
You should have
that
just run
after
whole
being in the
war.
Room of Spirit and Time for the equivalent of 1 year, Vegeta was a changed man. Just a few episodes earlier, a few chapters before this, Vegeta was getting his ass handed to him by Android 18. She broke his arm and humiliated him in that fight. Now we have Vegeta facing off against Semi-Perfect Cell, who one-shotted Android.
She tucked and rolled.
After absorbing 17.
She tucked and rolled.
Threat. Even Super Namekian Piccolo, at the hands of Cell's previous form, almost died. So this Cell was the strongest villain they had.
Bro,
faced
no
up
lie,
until this point.
no lie.
While Vegeta showed
That
off
right
his
there
body,
should have
and it
sent
was too
off
much for
all the
Cell,
red
to the
flags
point where he
as far
wanted
as
to
she's
take
done
it
this
to
before.
Vegeta. So of course, Cell being the intelligent character that he is, that also
No. Listen. I don't care how mad I am. I see Shorty tuck and roll like in front, like no. I'm like, you know what? I'm turning it off. I'm going home. Like no, that's it. And I'm calling 911. No, I need somebody here. Cause this bitch just tuck and roll. I've never seen. I'm from New York and I've never seen this.
Did also tap into Super Saiyan.
Like I said, like I'm from New York. I've never seen this.
Now,
And
interestingly enough, in Dragon Ball Z episode 165,
I am completely flabbergasted. So I need somebody to escort this woman off my property.
Neither of these forms were effective enough to battle against a threat like Cell. Now, a lot of fans have always said that the first Super Saiyan form to ever truly have the electricity was SS2, but that is not correct because with this transformation, when you see Vegeta really powering up, specifically when it goes for the final flash, you see the electrical discharge all over his body coming out. So the electrical discharge was used more so as a visual aid, as a way to amplify the power. Obviously with Super Saiyan 2, it was just there, even when Gohan wasn't even powered up, because it's a really high level of power. But even in this level, you see it there. You see the harnessing of the power from these warriors. But the big handicap of this form is the abnormal overuse of energy. The energy consumption in these forms is too taxing on the body for it to actually work in a long, drawn-out battle. Sort of like what happened with Frieza in his golden form and his 100% form, where the power he was wielding was way too much and his stamina dropped quickly. And when you add that with the fact that Perfect Cell was an absolute monster, this is why Vegeta was taken out with a single elbow to the back and put to sleep. Now, this wouldn't be the last time that we saw these forms. In fact, it's kind of interesting. So in the manga and the anime, there's a big difference here. When Trunks and Vegeta and the Z Fighters face off against the Cell Juniors in the Cell game, in the manga version, the way it was drawn, it appears like they're using their traditional Super Saiyan forms, or maybe even Stage 4, which again, I will cover in a separate video. But in the anime version, you can clearly see Trunks and Vegeta's muscle mass increase as they are using this power. And of course, there was a very brief cameo in Dragon Ball Super where we see the forms again. And if you really want to include this, Dragon Ball Z movies 8 and 9, the Broly and Bojack movies, we also see Vegeta and future Trunks using these in-between forms in those films. Super Saiyan Grade 2 was useful for a time, but wound up being a form that was in no way really necessary. But they did pay an homage to it later on when Vegeta used his Blue Evolution form, and when he did, he sort of resembled the muscle mass he had during this form. But that was the anime staff doing an homage or a tribute or a wink-wink to Super Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. Before we get into discussing this transformation here on the Geekdom 101 Transformation Guide, it is
Bro.
On Blu-ray and digital.
I made a wish. And the star answered.
Add Disney's Wish to your collection. Goku's Wish, now on digital or owned on Blu-ray.
It is imperative that you watch the previous edition of the guide where we discuss this form's predecessor, because I go into a lot of detail about the origin of the names and the story behind the previous form, because it does tie in with this one. So on this video, we're going to be discussing the Future Trunks exclusive form.
That's crazy. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not even gonna get into it because
we're gonna talk about it as part of the transformation.
No. I was gonna say that they lied on you, right, with the kidnapping. I had no witnesses to say they had. I had no witnesses to say that Mr. Leon was there, and I still got it. They lied. They charged you and let you go. That's crazy.
Dragon Ball Z episode 162, we find out that Trunks much stronger than we could ever think of, even more powerful than his own
they try to give me.
What
was it? I think it was either my first deal was either 12 or 21 for conspiracy. That was all they had on me was conspiracy.
Wanting to share with his father that
not telling.
Not want to embarrass him. However, the joke was on Trunks, because not only was Vegeta
no, that had nothing to do with Rico.
Not to tap into it, because Vegeta was
that had nothing to do with
Rico. Drawback behind this form. So when Vegeta ends up passing out at the hands of Perfect Cell, Future Trunks lays down the gauntlet and challenges him to a battle of Mortal Kombat, not the game, an actual combat between mortals, and shows off Super Saiyajin Dai Sandan, which is the third stage of Super Saiyan 1. Now,
my bad.
This form has an incredible amount of power and really shows
it's a little bit more full, my bad.
And what half-breeds can do if pushed. At this instance,
for real?
Trunks get humongously larger, but
damn.
His pupils go white, which mirrors that of the form that Broly would use in the movie that would be released shortly after this episode aired. Now, understand that Trunks came first. Toriyama drew this transformation in the manga way before the Broly movie was going to come out. So, if anything, Broly's legendary stage was an homage.
We do that in prison all the time. Just flip it over, you know. No. I'm just saying, just flip the chicken over. You know, just flip the chicken over, and you know, you'll be out by the time you get to that side. Or the grease done ran through it and everything. You don't even taste the crispiness.
Perfect Cell. Trunks have been really strong, stronger than Vegeta. In fact, possibly the strongest fighter at the time. He could not touch Perfect Cell, and good is being strong.
But yeah, that's crazy.
You cannot touch your opponent, because this form completely handicaps your speed. When it comes to multipliers of power, we actually do have a source.
Exactly.
It's not a Japanese source. One of the Spanish guidebooks called
Of course.
Ball, The Legend of Manga states that this form gives Trunks a 10 times multiplier. Take that for what you will, though, because it's not from the Japanese.
Nah, cause like it was either I cop out at that point. It was either I cop out or we go to trial.
To have this much power and this much strength, if you cannot connect with your enemy, and thus Trunks realizes this after Cell shows him his mistake. And the fact that even Trunks himself was arrogant and thinking he could win in this form, and also naive. Cell tells him he's a failure when it comes to this transformation.
That's Chill's kid, right?
I've always
that's Chill's son, right?
Really is good character writing as far as I'm concerned, because it shows that Trunks is a flawed
fighter.
He doesn't have the knowledge of Goku or Vegeta. And even Goku himself knew that these two forms were, let's just say, incomplete. Now, the other big drawback to this form is that it gobbles up stamina like crazy. Just maintaining the transformation, just doing that, even without throwing a single punch, quickly drains your stamina and your energy, and thus you get tired a lot faster. And
we're gonna hang you.
Makes this form an extreme letdown. Now, a lot of people throughout the years argued that had it not been for the speed handicap, Trunks could have won this fight. But when you actually analyze the manga and the anime, there's more to it than that. Obviously,
but not like
Trunks was very, very strong. But as far as competing against Cell,
let me see. When I was in MCC, I ran into Day Day.
That he can achieve this form by bulking
You
up
know,
and
I
demonstrating
ran into
Trunks
Day Day
fight
in
in space,
MCC,
that there are problems with
and
his form.
then
So Cell wanted to match power for power. He could have against Trunks. Let's not forget that
he was on the
later
east side
against the fight with Goku
of
and Gohan in the Cell
Fort
games.
Dix
And yes,
for a little
Cell
while.
did train, of course. We have to factor that in. But Cell himself
He was on the east,
really
yeah.
being pushed to his limits, especially by Gohan. And that tells me that Cell in this fight
that's
with
club.
Trunks was still
That's Club Fed. It's right behind Six
even
Flags.
though Trunks may have appeared to have been able to beat Cell, maybe he could have if he had the speed advantage. Cell had many more
But now,
tricks up his sleeve,
Fort Dix
and
is
I believe that Cell would have still won the fight because of various factors, plus the fact that he's an Namekian, he can heat
It's
on
Club
the
Fed.
versus other hacks that Cell had. Nonetheless, I think a lot of people
we get-
overstate and overestimate.
He's
Trump's power
doing
here.
Fed
I think
too.
he could have beaten Cell no matter
Day Day,
what, even if he had
Day
speed
Day's
increase,
doing
because
Fed.
Cell also had this power too. And if you want to match power for power, at the very least would have been a stalemate, and that's not including Cell's hacks. So although this form
Yeah,
looks cool,
yeah, but no. I was the
definitely one that
last
even
I
Vegeta
saw him, and I
himself in
think he
Dragon
was
Ball Super
going.
refers to as being primitive. It's just not.
I think he was going to
effective
the
form for combat
lieutenant's
at all.
office.
Goku says it, Vegeta says it, and Trunks, of course, realizes it, which is why
I'm not
he
sure.
didn't really use this form in combat again, with the exception of the anime version of the Cell games, the fight with the Cell Juniors. We saw it one more time there, but after that, he realized that this form is just no good. But it wasn't the last time we saw the form. Dragon Ball Super showed that Caulifla was able to tap into this form, badly Goku in the Tournament of Power, but like with Trunks, just could not touch Goku because
That's
massive
yo,
muscles
no lie.
make you lose
That's
speed,
exactly the
and
same time I'm
Goku
on right
was
now.
way
Yo,
too
you.
fast, so she preferred
Alright.
to use her regular Super Saiyan form. Now, quick clarification here for all of you old school gamers who played Budokai. In the old Budokai games, this form is referred to as
You must not
Super
want to go
Trunks 2,
home, right?
and that is incorrect because
you
the
forget
form
I'm
is
really
called
like
Grade
that.
3. So his
Okay.
Grade 3 is called Super Trunks 2, and his Grade 2 is just called Super Trunks. And some people actually call it Super Saiyan 1.5. In fact, it was called that in Supersonic Warriors 2. So be aware of all the different names: Super Trunks, Ultra Super Saiyan. The official guidebook.
Bro, I'm not even gonna
Super
lie.
Saiyan Grade 3, or you can always
I come
call it what
home,
Krillin called it in the manga,
eat.
Super Saiyan. Either way, it's a cool name.
The TV puts me to sleep,
Failing against Cell,
and your alarm goes
the
off.
universe ended up being Gohan, and what they had to do is learn
Yeah.
from the mistakes of their predecessors. When it comes to Goku learning stage 2 and stage 3 of Super Saiyan, the upgraded forms from the original, he figured that out really quickly, but he also figured out that they were not effective in battle, which is why Goku had to discover secrets about his own body and his own biology to really figure out how to become the best possible warrior to face off against
like
the
I'm
recently
still
perfected
working,
Cell.
bro.
And
Like,
thus he had to discover what is known as
like the
Super
company
Saiyan
I'm with, we
full
supposed to be in the
power,
same
Super
area
Saiyan
for like the
full
next
power,
10 years.
but in the guidebooks is referred to as Super Saiyan Grade 4, which would be the key
Like,
to having a balanced body
and
mind.
that's
And on
not
this
even
edition
what
of
we
the
got,
Transformation
because I think
Guide,
we got some
we're going
projects
to right
happening
into
in the
full
Bronx
power
as
Super
well, some
Saiyan
upcoming
and how it
projects in the
works.
Bronx.
So like I
We
said in the
got
intro, there's tons of fan names for this. Master Super Saiyan, Complete Super Saiyan. Daizenshu 2 was
we
the
got
first time this actually
we got something
got the
going
official
on.
name of Super Saiyan Full
I think
Power.
in
That was in Daizenshu 2 because in the manga it's never really
off of New
called
Rochelle.
Super Saiyan Full Power. And it talks about
Yeah,
in Daizenshu 2 that
on Main
Goku's
Street.
aura, while the Super
It's
Saiyan
here in
power
New
is
York.
drawn to its limits, is very different. Now there's no
No,
indication
no.
that Goku or Gohan are in their maximum power. And obviously we find out when the fight begins with Cell that neither one, especially Gohan, was close to their absolute max. And there's always room to improve with this transformation. So basically what happens is, in the Room of Spirit and Time, Goku figures out that stage 2 and stage 3, the
tell us when they use Just for Men to eliminate gray? There's a great
Buffalo,
before and
New
after.
York. Yeah.
Then there's the
It's
after
upstate though.
that boost you get when you look
That-
and feel your best. And that's why more men choose Just for
That
Men.
don't count. I know, but
Forms, the ones that Vegeta and Trunks used against Cell failed, are powerful upgrades to Super Saiyan, but they're not effective in combat, especially not against Perfect Cell, who is not only very strong, but also very smart because he has the cells of a lot of the Z fighters. So Goku decides that they must work on getting rid of that instability, that restless feeling, and essentially taking the transformation of Super Saiyan and making it their normal sort of base form, transitioning that form.
novelty
to
stores.
base form. So what happens is Goku
Damn, bro, for real.
and Vegeta and everybody is stunned as to how strong and how unique they look here. And Vegeta says they look like Super Saiyans, but I don't feel the energy. It's like their natural state. Super Saiyan full power becomes Goku and Gohan's natural state.